Some more pasta? Some more pasta? Okay. What's up, my YouTube people? Thanks for coming back to see just what I do today. It's sort of my life movie type videos. Well, as you can see today, we are inside because it's kind of cold outside, and with the time change, it kind of makes it hard to do videos outside right now because the lighting sucks. But anyways, I hope you're having a great day. We are going to make something inside today. As you can see, we got all kinds of stuff in front of us. We are going to make hearty lasagna soup. Now, this is a super simple recipe. Now, I am doubling the recipe, so if you want to make it for not an army, because I always cook for an army because I like leftovers. So if you don't want to cook for an army, like I said, just cut everything in half. Use half the tomatoes, half the sausage, half the pasta, half the, just half everything. So, real quickly, before we get started, let me run down the ingredients on what we're going to be using to make this hearty lasagna soup. Now, you're going to need some garlic bread. Either make your own or frozen, like what I got here. That's for later. I'm going to use 2 rolls of Italian sausage. Now, you could use the turkey Italian sausage if you wanted to go a healthier route. Or you could just use hamburger and just add a lot of Italian seasoning and garlic and whatnot to it. That'll work too. But for mine, I'm going to use 2 rolls of Italian sausage. We're going to throw in some garlic powder. Now, if you don't have garlic powder, you could use minced garlic, a whole garlic, whatever you want. Or if you don't like garlic, then don't use garlic. We're going to toss in a bunch of Italian seasoning. We're going to petite dice a onion, 1 medium-sized onion. And then we're going to use 2 32-ounce, 2-pound cartons of beef broth. Now, we're also going to be adding this one's Italian petite diced tomatoes. The other one's just regular petite diced tomatoes. We're going to need some mozzarella cheese for on the top after it's done and cooked. And then we're going to use some mini farfalle bow tie pasta. Now, this called for muffalata pasta, but that is extremely hard to find. So just use whatever pasta you like. You can use elbow macaroni if you wanted to, or even some spiral pasta, rotini. Any pasta will work. I'm using farfalle because it's kind of got the same kind of ridges to hold the sauce and on the same lines of a lasagna noodle. So, let me move some stuff around and we'll start making this hearty lasagna soup. Alright, the first step we're going to do in cooking this hearty lasagna pasta is I got some oil in my big pot. My pot is screeching hot at the moment. So we're going to toss in our Italian sausage and get that rolling. Honey bunny. Oh, it's a big bear. Now again, I'm using 2 rolls. I am doubling this recipe. So if you're doing it in a smaller amount, just use 1 roll. Unless you want a lot of meat in your soup. Now again, you can use, I said this once already, but you can use the Italian turkey burger if you wanted to. Or even just hamburger and throw in a lot of Italian seasoning. Woo, almost knocked you over. We're going to chop that up a little bit in there. Now, yes, in this pot, it's going to stick to the bottom a little bit, but that's okay. The beef broth will help release it just as long as it doesn't burn. That's why I turned it down to medium. So we're just going to chop this up a little bit. Not in super small bites, but you know. Not in giant chunks either. Okay, while that's browning and cooking, we're going to add our Italian seasoning. Which is about 2 to 3 teaspoons. But, you know, I don't measure anything. I'm just going to eyeball it. Now, if you want more, then add more. Add it to your liking. You're the one that's going to be eating it, so make sure you like the way it tastes. We're also going to be adding the same amount of garlic powder. Now you could use just minced garlic, but I don't have any of that at the moment, so I'm going to use the garlic powder. Now again, we are going to taste this later, and if it needs more, then we'll add more then. While this is all browning and cooking away, I'm going to petite dice up my medium-sized onion real quick. Okay, I've got all my onion diced up now. Now, as I said, it's a petite diced, so it's kind of on the smaller side. You kind of want it small. You don't want like giant chunks in your soup this time. So we're going to toss this whole petite diced onion, medium-sized onion, in with the Italian sausage, or with your turkey burger, or your hamburger, or whatever meat you happen to be using. We're going to turn the heat up a little bit, get this going a bit more, so we can soften the onions and finish browning the meat. So, I'm going to let this cook the rest of the way. I'll bring you back to show you the next step. Okay, I don't know how well you can see, but we got that meat all browned up and that onion is nice and soft, so it's now time to move on to the next step. Now the next step is, even though I just fogged up the camera, give me a second. Okay, before the camera fogs up again, which you probably just did. But anyways, the next step is we are going to be adding our beef broth. Now I'm going to be adding both cartons. Now if it doesn't seem like enough broth to make it a proper soup to your liking, then add some water to it. That'll work just fine. And that's my phone. Now again, I am adding 2 32-ounce cartons. Now, if you're making this in a smaller portion, again, just add 1 carton. Now, I may add some water to this. Not quite sure yet. But we'll see, because the pasta is going to soak up a lot of liquid. And you want it to be a soup, not a stew. So you need a bit of liquid in there. Broth or something to make it soupy. Anyways, stop rambling. Now that we got all our beef broth in there, we're going to add our petite diced tomatoes. Now you don't have to use petite diced. You can use the chunky diced. You can use crushed. You can use whole and chop them up yourself. I'm just going with petite because more to get on the spoon all at once. A little bit of everything. And I am using the 1 pound 12-ounce cans. I'm using 2. This one is plain. The other one has Italian seasoning in it. It doesn't matter. Get it with Italian seasoning. Get it without Italian seasoning. They just didn't have another can of the Italian seasoning one. So that's why this one's plain. And if you're doing this in a small amount, then just use 1 can. So we're going to dump all that in. Both cans. Now, all I did was rinse out my can with some water. I'm going to add that into it. Did the same thing with the other can, just to make sure we get all the nice tomato flavor out of the can. Now we're just going to give this a really good stir. And we are almost done with the soup already. So we are going to let this come up to a really nice roving boil. Give the broth a taste first before we go adding in the noodles, because that's when we can adjust how things are going to taste, because we don't want bland noodles when we go to have our soup. So if the broth is super flavorful, the pasta will be super flavorful, so the soup will be really good. So we're going to let this come up to a nice roving boil, and I'll bring you back. We'll give the broth a test and see where we are from there. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes now, and as you can tell, without the camera fogging up again, that it's to a nice roving boil. Let me turn it down so you can actually see what I'm doing, so it'll unfog the camera. Give it a minute. There we go. Now let's see how fast we can fog it back up real quick. Okay. As you can see, it's to a nice roving boil. It's going to have just enough liquid in it to make it soupy when I add both boxes of pasta in a minute. But first, we are going to test the broth, because you want the broth to be strong and flavorful, so your pasta will be strong and flavorful. So that way the whole soup will be super tasty. So let me grab a spoon real quick and we'll give this a go. I'm going to give you the first taste. Be careful, it's super hot. Here it comes. So what'd you think? You know, I think you're right. I think it does need a bit more seasoning. So we're going to add a bit more of the Italian seasoning and a little bit more of the garlic powder. Now, if you don't have any Italian seasoning, you can just use oregano and basil. Those will work fine. Now let's add some more garlic to it. Not a bunch, just enough. We're going to give that a good stir. Now we're going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes. It's not quite medium high. Let's put it on medium. Yeah, we're going to let this simmer for just about 10 minutes, so that way we get a nice strong broth. And then when we come back, we'll add the pasta and finish out this video. Okay, as you can see, it's been about 10 minutes now, if the camera will stop fogging up. I brought it back up to a roving boil, so now we can do this last step, which is adding the farfalle pasta. Now, again, as I said before, you don't have to use farfalle pasta, bow tie pasta, whatever you want to call it. You can use elbow macaroni, rotini, spiral, muffalata, whatever kind of pasta you like, you can throw it in. Even ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, you can add those in. But I am going to add in 2 boxes of the mini farfalle pasta. After tossing a handful to the pups, because that is one of the pups' most favorite treat is dried pasta. They just go nuts for it. So I'm going to add in the other box real quick. Again, if you're making this in a smaller amount, just add in 1 box. So we're going to give this a nice good stir. Let that pasta become al dente, soft, whatever your liking is. Wobbly. So we're going to let the pasta finish cooking. And we'll come back and we'll give it a test try. So I'll bring you back in about 5 minutes or so. Well, here is the finished product of the Hearty lasagna soup. Camera's fogging up again. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of liquid, but enough to make it soupy. So let me set up the camera, fix you a bowl, and we'll give this a try. Alright, I got you a little bowl here. Now the only thing you need to go with this is a little bit of cheese on the top. You can either do Parmesan, mozzarella, Italian, whichever kind of cheese you like. You can throw it on the top. You can always do a little dollop of ricotta cheese too, considering this is lasagna soup. So, all you need... The only other thing that you need with this soup... It's not a moo cow. Take 3. The only other thing you need with this soup is a nice side salad and some garlic bread. But I'm going to save that for over at my aunt's house because this is for family night dinner. But I wanted to give you the first sampling before I go taking it over. Let me grab a spoon. Now grab you some cheese and noodle and a good piece of Italian sausage. It'll behave. Okay, here you go. Be careful, it's still quite hot. So what'd you think? I think it came out really good. Tastes rather like lasagna, I think. But again, I did double this recipe. So if you're making it in a smaller amount, just, do 1 can or 1 box or 1 roll of Italian sausage. And if you don't have Italian seasoning, again, you can use oregano or even basil. So, I think I'm going to call this video because I have to go jump through the shower so I can get over to my aunt's house for family night dinner. So, thanks for watching Just What I Do Today. Please subscribe, whack the like button, and I'll see you next time on Just What I Do. Oh, leave a comment down below on what you liked about this video, and I hope you'll give this recipe a try. If you do, let me know how it came out for you down below in the comments. If you use turkey burger or hamburger or... Yeah, I read all the comments. So, again, I'm going to close out this video. Thanks for watching Just What I Do. Please subscribe, as I said before, and don't forget to whack the like button. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Hope you enjoyed watching me make this hearty lasagna soup, and I hope you'll give it a try. Bye. We just love pasta. Look, there's Oliver! Oliver's not quite sure what to do with pasta. Some more pasta? Some more pasta? Okay, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Just thought I'd show the cute little pup-ups enjoying their pasta. There's a honey bunny! Honey bunny! And there's Big Bear! He's my big guy. He wants to squirm away. Okay, thanks for watching.